G'day mate, 40 here. As I'm striding through Beverly Hills this morning, I encounter a lot of joggers. How many of them look happy with what they're doing? How many of them emanate joy? How many of them do you look at and go, oh, there's ease and joy, there's poetry in motion? Right, probably fewer than 5%. Most of them, they're laboring, they're pulled down, they're compressed, they're tight, they're in pain, they're awkward, they're kind of putting a ton of unnecessary pressure on their joints, right, because they're so tight and pulled down and compressed, right, and they're not in alignment, that there is a tremendous amount of shock just rippling through their system with every step. Now, if your head, neck, back, hip, ankle relationship is in alignment, then you're going to put a lot less pressure on your joints, you're going to move a lot more smoothly, and you're going to have much more potential for joy and freedom and love and compassion and generosity in what you're doing. Like if you're pulled down, if you're hurting, if every step is painful, right, you're not going to be particularly generous, compassionate, thoughtful, kind, considerate, and pro-social when you interact with others. And that's true for life in general. Like if you have a hard time reaching into the refrigerator, you're not able to pick up a sock. You have a hard time bending over to put on your shoes. Right? Not likely to be filled with faith, hope, and joy as you go through life. And so the world is considerably narrowed, restricted. There are far fewer opportunities for joy, and so you'll be much more tempted for quick fixes like drugs, alcohol, TV to get you out of the misery of day-to-day living. So if some guru was to come along and suggest you start jogging, right, in all likelihood you would do it in such an awkward, tense, compressed way that you'd be at a fairly high likelihood of injuring yourself. Probably a pretty good chance that you do yourself more harm than good. That's saying that most joggers out there doing themselves more harm than good, particularly people over 40, right, who take up jogging. Right, probably a 50% likelihood that they'll do more harm than good because they've got such ingrained tension and compression habits. Then think about Bronze Age pervert who recommends, this is his biggest recommendation, that every bloke take up lifting. Now, when I see people lift weights, I'm usually struck by how they are tightening and compressing and ingraining their worst tension and compression habits with every exertion. Right? They are making their tension and compression habits worse with every lift, with every pump, with every exercise, tightening their necks, compressing their necks, tightening their shoulders, compressing their spine. Right, they're ingraining, these maladaptive tension and compression habits. Now, they might still overall be doing themselves more good than harm, but a lot of people are obviously doing far more harm than good when they take up lifting. But so too with religion. Like, take a guy who's, let's say he's a sex addict, like me, takes up religion, and his religion is just going to be distorted by his, addiction. And so religion is not going to usually overcome addiction, right? Religion can meet a religious need. But if you've got sufficiently strong compulsions and addictions, rippling through you, right, some external solution like making a geographic change or a religious change or career change, it's not gonna fix it. And then yoga. I know a lot of people think, take up yoga, I need to become more active. And people who have experience with yoga, particularly once they get over about age 40 and they take up yoga, they're very likely to lack the flexibility and ease of use that will enable them to get more benefit than harm. So I know when I took up yoga, I did thousands of dollars of permanent damage to myself, stretching out tendons that weren't meant to be stretched. having to spend thousands of dollars on physical therapy to try to mitigate the harm. Spending thousands of dollars on physical therapy to mitigate the harm, and I already had over $20,000 in credit card debt and no solution in sight. And then 12-step programs. I often see people try to use 12-step programs strategically. They try to use the program to achieve whatever goal they have, rather than allowing the program to work through them and to use them. And so generally speaking, my experience is when people take up a 12-step program strategically rather than allowing it to work in them and transform them, but they try to use the program rather than allowing the program to use them. They don't get a lot of benefits, generally speaking, except the discovery of a new community. They might make friends and connections and find some useful tips, philosophies, steps, tools, sponsorship. They might find intimacy and connection. These are all good things, but when you're just so sure that you're there to use the program rather than allowing the program to use you, it limits the benefits. So we can't possibly understand things that we don't understand, so we have to put them into existing frameworks in our mind, which severely contort them. And so it helps you to reset yourself to zero, right? To let go of everything you think you know, let go of pre-existing mental, psychological, physical tension and compression patterns, and move from a world of judgment into a world of awareness. So as I'm talking about that right now, I felt myself moving into a world of awareness rather than judgment, and the tension between my shoulder blades just released and my neck just released a little bit, and so my head was able to rise a little further higher and up, giving me more flexibility, joy, and ease of movement. So being in that place of awareness, letting go of everything I think I know, and looking around without the need to judge what I see, just experience it. Man, am I going to be able to catch this light? Bye-bye.